ginger's rap. You just made this ginger snap. Don't make this ginger snap. Gonna make me overreact. Ever feel a ginger's rap? You just made this ginger snap.
What's up, GS Tribe? This is my son Silas.
My dad Ryan.
And we are Ginger. Wow, what a week this was.
Crazy one.
Yeah, it's been, we haven't filmed in a little while.
Yeah, it's been a few, 2 weeks off.
Yeah, man. So we're trying not to do that, but this dude got a job at Amazon. He's an Amazonian.
Yes, I am. I'm working for the man.
He's still working for the man, ain't you, Mac? He's taking his little lunch pail to work, making tuna salad sandwiches, doing what the working man does. And he's still, he finished up school. You're finished. You're officially a senior in college.
Yes, sir.
That's why we haven't filmed. But we wanted to do this segment really to honor the superheroes in our lives.
Yes.
And we're referring to our moms. With Mother's Day coming up this Sunday, the 10th. And it's going to be funky because of the lockdown, the quarantine that we're on or in. So,
speaking of work, I work till 7 a.m. that day.
Yeah, his hours are. What do you go? I
start at 6:30 p.m. and I get off at 7 a.m. And it's I'm working 5 days this week, so. As soon as I get off work,
how many hours?
60. So as soon as I get off work, I hop in bed to try to refuel the body.
While the sun's coming up, and so that's not a schedule I like or would want. But I did that, and I did my time, and now he's experiencing it. But you know what? They're paying good. They're taking care of the employees there, and he's doing a good thing with. Pretty essential. People are buying a lot of things via Amazon. So anyway, we've got a lot to cover. So come with us on this journey.
Lego.
Yeah. We want to just kind of start by just sharing a little bit as it pertains to moms. And the one thing that with this current pandemic, we're starting to see how precious the things in our lives really are. That can't be overstated. We too often take things for granted in our lives, and I could write a list very quickly of the things that I know that I'm taking for granted in my life that I don't intentionally mean to, but I think in my mind that those are going to be there forever. Yeah. And with this crisis, some things are stripped away, taken away, and realizing that things aren't forever.
Yeah, no doubt.
But we're looking at. I work for the Salvation Army and was a youth pastor for 8-9 years, and I've seen like good moms, and I've seen really crappy moms. And I'm not even trying to be mean. Like, you have this concept in your mind. What would a good mom look like? A lot of us have those moms in our lives. And then when you know what a good mom looks like, you then can sort of point out or you don't want to judge, but you know when a mom is just super disconnected or they see their kids as an inconvenience.
Yeah.
And so we work with a lot of the kids where their homes are in chaos. Dad isn't usually around.
No. That's interesting. I had seen that about 25% of moms in America, they said, are going at it alone. And with African American mothers, this is like 50%. And,
oh, wow.
And that study was done a few years ago, so numbers could vary a little based on what you read. But that's staggering. Like to be a single parent, you're not only having to try to make an income, you're trying to do both parental jobs. You're trying to make sure your kid is fed, he's clothed. He's going to school, doing well in his schoolwork,
Homework at night.
mentally
Yeah.
doing well. That like Dad said, that is a superhero. Someone able to do all of that. That's truly unbelievable.
Super heroic. And I think we're seeing that more right now of the importance of mom, but how there's so much being asked of the mom right now during this pandemic or this crisis.
Yeah, a lot of them are teaching.
Yes,
because I have 3 real young siblings that are all in school, but that mom has to basically be their teacher now.
Yeah.
While also, going to college, has her own stuff.
I was thinking like, so you have your good moms, you have your bad moms, and then somewhere in there, which is usually probably a good mom, you got your unrealistic mom. You know what I mean?
Yes, you do.
You'll know what I'm talking about because I think you all have experienced this. And I'm going to paint a picture of the unrealistic mom. Silas and Barrick, my 2 sons, were playing Little League Baseball, and they were legends in the ballpark. It was so fun to watch. It was exciting every time. But every team has that one kid that made the team by guilt or like maybe not guilt, like maybe aw. Like that's what the coach aw.
He made it by aw.
Yeah, like it's just that simple. They didn't deserve it, and if the truth be told, if you ask the kid would be shocked that he made it and doesn't understand it, but he's friggin' excited. But so you've got that kid, and there was this kid on your team. He was terrible, like awful at baseball. Probably one of the worst baseball playing kids.
I think I know. Are you talking about Tyler?
Yes, it was Tyler. That's his name.
That guy, man. Wow.
Kid. It was a kid at the time.
That kid, man. Wow.
So it's not about Tyler right now. It's kind of about Tyler.
It should be about Tyler. We should circle back.
Yeah, and we will. We'll spend some time talking about Tyler. But I want to talk about Tyler's godforsaken mother. And so I'm sitting in the stands, right? And this guy was a pitcher. So he would pitch, and I'm like, I'm into it. I'm not I got high expectations, but he has higher expectations for himself. Whatever. So they 1, 2, 3 kind of outs quickly, and then they're on off, or they're up to bat. Oh man. Okay, so unfortunately, Tyler's mother thought it would be cool to sit next to me. Now, at the time, I didn't know anything about Tyler or Tyler's mom.
She probably thought you were cute.
She was sitting like right in front of me, and she turns around and she is like, and Tyler is up to bat. He's walking very slowly, but he's looking around, like I think he's looking for his mother, and his helmet's too big. His bat's too big. He has no batting gloves. That's always a sign. Yeah. No batting gloves. He didn't have real cleats either. Tyler didn't own cleats. This is not about Tyler. This is about Tyler's mom. I want to remind us all. But he's walking up. He's not even chewing gum. That's a big deal in baseball. He wasn't even chewing gum or tobacco. I was waiting for him to spit, and he did. His mom.
He was one of those dudes where, if we have 2 outs and Tyler's up to bat, you start getting your glove on. The catcher gets all his gear on.
That is so jacked up. Poor sweet Tyler. Okay, so not about Tyler. So he's walking very slowly to the plate. Tyler's mom turns around to me and is like, "That's my baby," and she touches me. She's touching me. But what I noticed immediately was her teeth. Tyler's mom's teeth were sporadic. They were they were practicing social distancing. So there were, but I'm like, oh no, and this is going to be a whole game of this. So she's proud. He's getting up. What happens? You know what happens. He swings, but he swings out to the ball's already in the catcher's mitt. And then she's like, good swing, baby. So she's, excited about that. And I'm looking at her like, I'm seeing the back of her head, and I'm like, that was not a good swing. That was a terrible swing. So he swings again. She was like, oh, he's got power, like in a swing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this kid is terrible, but it's not about Tyler.
No.
And then, so he strikes out, and she was like, he ain't pitching right. And I'm like,
excuses.
Yes. She's like, it's all right, baby. He ain't even pitching right. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And she turned around to me, and she was like, if he would have hit that would have been in the outfield, no question. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But anyway, it made me think about moms that are so unrealistic. They see the absolute best in their kid. And sometimes they see things in their kid that doesn't exist. Yeah. And that's okay. It actually makes life fun. But what it means is that they're ultra proud of their kid. And you can be that. You can do that. Now, I mean, I will, I wanted to tap her on the shoulder and be like, look, your kid doesn't belong here. Get him cleats. At least get him cleats.
Or get braces.
Yeah. No, Tyler's teeth weren't sporadic, but his mom's were. But we know the good moms, the bad moms, the unrealistic moms, and of course in this whole topic, it's got me thinking, of course, about my life and how my journey went. So when I was about 8 years old, I'll never forget it because my dad and my biological mom didn't get along very well, and so I remember a day when my mom wrote a letter, and she gave it to my sister to give to my dad, and they're in the same house or whatever. And what I didn't know at that time is that the letter was saying that my mom was leaving. But all I know is that my mom gave that letter to my sister gave it to my dad, and I never saw my mom again. 8 years old, and she left. Now, that creates in a kid some confusion and some hurt that takes years to recover from, and sometimes you might not even recover from that. There are times that I think maybe, like how I trust women or whatever, it might sort of, I've had to work through that. It might affect or directly affect how I see relationships or whatever with women or whatever. So, there are a ton of kids that are, believe it or not, that are dealing with a mom that's absent. They may actually be in the home, but completely checked out. Yeah. But that was very hurtful for me, and actually really hard to remember, because my sister ended up being sort of my mom for a bit, and she did a beautiful job of sort of stepping in. She shouldn't have had to do that, but nonetheless she did. But then I also wanted to share, God, and we believe in God's involvement in our lives. We do. We abandoned the idea of coincidence a long time ago. Yeah. But I remember when my dad said that he met somebody, and this was years or not years. This is a little while after my mom left and poof, gone, and I never saw her again. But he said we're going to go meet them, and I was like, okay, and my dad said that, look, she has a son your age and a daughter, younger or whatever. So we were kind of excited, and they lived in Mechanicsburg. We got in the car and we drove there, and when we got to the corner, we knew it was my eventual stepbrother and stepsister were on the corner. They were in skates. They saw our car because they knew what car to look for. They skated to their house. We were all excited. My brother and I became immediate best friends. And it was like we were blood brothers, like you and Barrick. And so we started seeing more of them. And I would spend the night at Chad's house. And I would see how his mom would interact with him. And I wanted that so bad. You know, there was much of, obviously, my life that I missed that. And so my brother, before we would go to bed, my brother would get kissed by my stepmom. And after a few times spending the night with him, I realized that I also wanted to be kissed by his mom. Now that might sound weird, and when I say that, that actually does sound weird. But there was a longing for in me to feel that affection that he was experiencing, that he was feeling. And I remember Chad saying to my stepmom, like, Ryan wants a kiss too, and then I pretended like I didn't because it was weird or it was awkward, or whatever. But she kissed me on the cheek, and I remember from that point on, she would kiss me on the cheek, and it was like a feeling that I can't describe. When you miss something in your life, and then God comes through and says, "Hey, you had this, but let me make beauty from ashes." And I'll never forget those kisses. I'll never forget how she took my sister and I in as if we were her own. So definitely a shout out to my super heroic mom, who's my stepmom, but I certainly don't view her as that. But while she had a super affectionate side, she also had a very firm side, and like a side where she didn't get mad often, but when she got mad, oh, it was just unbelievably gangster. So I'm like, my mom. Okay, so my brother and I were upstairs. We had an upstairs room, and we were mischievous. We anything that we could do that was against rules, we figured out when and where we could best do that. So we're up in our bedroom, and we could look down on the one-story home next door.
Okay.
And we could, through this window, we could see our neighbor sitting in his easy chair reading the newspaper. We were like, we want to torment this guy. How do we do it? So we were like, and for whatever reason, we noticed that the caulking was coming off the sides of the window. Okay? So we were like pulling pieces off of the window, and we would open our window, and we would and it would go, and we were trying to hit that window. Okay, so we were doing it, and we could see the guy was like, looking around like, what in the heck is this? So we do it a few more times, and he gets up. And I'm like, we kind of got scared, at that moment. Well, we hear the doorbell ring. Oh no. My gosh. So we tried to listen. We knew we were dead. But my dad wasn't home. Only my mom. And doorbell, then we hear the door slam, and we hear coming up the steps. We're like, oh God, oh God, oh God. And she rips us down those stairs and says that she's going to, tell our dad and whatever. My brother actually took the brunt of that. He took one for the team. We were always sort of kind of doing that. Anyway, but we saw a sternness in her that was a little scary. I'm not going to lie. But as I'm paying tribute to my mom in this segment, I'm going to fast forward some years. And okay, so my dad and mom said, hey, we're having a family meeting. And so we actually get, told to gather into this, into the living room. And we could tell something was up. Something was different. And we sit around, and then my dad begins explaining that my mom, they found out that she has cancer and that she had advanced stage breast cancer. And I still remember to this day when I heard that, that I remember thinking, how can I lose? Because this was where cancer was almost, it felt like a death sentence. Yeah. So I was like, how can I lose two moms in a lifetime? I almost in my mind, like I couldn't understand that. And we didn't know exactly what all that meant. I just know that my mom started chemo. And so she began to be really sick. She lost her hair. She would have moments of just bleeding. She would be puking all the time. At the time my dad lost his job, our car broke down. But I remember through that, just the incredible faith that she maintained. She loved to encourage people along the way, and it made no sense because it was like, man, she needs encouraged, but yet she would thank God for what she had, and she would try to encourage people. And because of the way she handled her cancer, is a testament or the reason why my roots are any sort of depth in my roots and my faith. Watching her go through the hardest moment of her life at the time, and then seeing her respond to that. And then like years later, and I'm talking about I would say within the last 5 years, I didn't even know this story. So when my mom, she had to have a mastectomy, everything just destroyed inside of her from the chemo, cancer, whatever. And someone from our church brought over money and said, we want you to use this on yourself. What I didn't know at the time was that my brother and I wanted to play at the YMCA and play basketball in this basketball league or whatever. And we didn't know. We just wanted to play, and we got to play. But what I didn't know is that my mom used the money that she was to use on herself. She used it so we could play basketball.
Wow.
And that was the kind of person that she is, and was and is, that she would really think of others and propel others before her. And since her bout with cancer, and thank God she beat cancer, she's used her story and her testimony and her fight for good for other people that have gone through similar scenarios, and she's helped a lot of people through breast cancer and cancer and chemo and all of that, and she's become a light and a beacon of hope to people that are fighting for their lives as well. She is probably by all rights shouldn't be here, but she is. And then I'll say one more thing. The one thing that like is so prevalent in my mind is when my sister was diagnosed with cancer, and terminal cancer at that. I remember watching my mom on this journey of watching her daughter dying. And none of us can really imagine that. Like, it's not something you want to imagine. But I got to see that firsthand. And I say I got to because I saw something that I would have never seen otherwise. But I remember this one particular conversation. I was on the couch. My sister at that point was in a wheelchair, and she wasn't really coherent too well. She was on morphine, and it was her last days. And I remember watching my mom, and she bent down to my sister in the wheelchair, and she was having a conversation with her in her ear. My mom was crying, and my sister actually was tearing up and all that. And what I found out is that she was telling Amy it was okay to let go at that point, that her sons were going to be taken care of. And just thinking about like how she cared for Amy in her last days, she cared for her so beautifully. And the fact that she had to go through that and that she had to witness that is unimaginable. But the love that she had, and that she uses that story for good and has helped people in those moments as well, is a testament. Again, it's a testament to what I would consider her to be a superhero, and just the spirit that she has of, she's a warrior. So I just wanted to share about my mom and those different things that I've got to experience and see. She's just an incredible woman.
So powerful, man. So powerful. Wow. Some of that is just like, you hear it when you're younger, but hearing it grown up, knowing a little bit more at this point, that's crazy. But I would like to take a second to also talk about my incredible mom. Her name is Celeste. I love my mom so much. It's crazy because my parents were divorced when I was 4, 3, something like that. So I was pretty young. So like, when you're separated, your parents kind of have to. You're almost like, when you're at their house, they're almost playing a hybrid type role. So like, my mom was unbelievable, but like, one of the fondest memories I have with my mom was when I was a little child. I don't even know how old, but she used to hold me and she used to sing lullabies to me before I went to bed every single night, and she kept doing that until I was, I don't know at what point I grew up or thought maybe that was weird, but like, I still remember those in my mind all the time. And sometimes when I'm alone, I'll start singing them and just think about, like, that's
awesome.
I loved, Mom used to tickle my back and would sing to me, and like, it's the same thing when you're sick, when Mom would come in, and it's just like, I always say that now when I get sick, when I'm not at home, like, I wish I was at home with my mom, because no one wants to take better care of me than her. I think one of the things that's always astounded me about my mother is her some ability in her to always know when something's wrong. So when I'm at college and I'm away, there are times I have bad days, bad moments, whatever. Sometimes I just want to call my mom just to hear her voice, just to talk to her. And sometimes I don't even want to complain about anything. It's just like, talking to your mom just gives you this feeling of like I don't know, it just makes everything feel better. But Mom can always tell in my voice, tell in the way I'm talking or something along, she'll be like, "What's wrong, babe?" Or ask me, and I've always thought that's incredible, because you don't even tell her anything and that she just knows me that well. But my mom is an incredible woman. She always said growing up that she wanted to have a ton of kids, and she did that. She's got 5, and she's incredible to all of us, has unique relationships with all of us. And I think as I've gotten older, as a kid, I don't think you always appreciate your mom, and maybe it's a little different because of the circumstance you were in, experiencing not having one for a few years. But like, when growing up, I feel like I probably didn't appreciate my mom as much as I should. And like, but as I've went to college and you like are away, I think you truly begin to appreciate those kinds of people in your life, those that are there for you no matter what, that love you no matter what, that want the best for you always in everything. So in this time, during this COVID pandemic, I think as Dad was saying earlier, you are realizing who, like, it is making you appreciate certain people, certain things more. And I think what we want to do, our little challenge we want to send out, is to remind you to appreciate your mom and let her know how much you appreciate her. Yeah. Because moms show you every single day how much they love you. And the least we can do is give everything we can to let them know that we appreciate them too. And
sometimes, like, moms, they're praying behind the scenes for you, And I'd like to add this, as it pertains to your mom. with the whole divorce and all that, divorce is it's never the idea thing. But the one thing that I can say without a doubt is that your mom loved you boys to an incredible degree. I would never ever question that. So I love hearing you talk about your mom. I love hearing you rave about her. She deserves it. And we're all in this together. We're all trying to enrich each other's lives and make happy lives for each other and lavish love on one another. And so, I would challenge you, on this video to, find unique ways to, not just on Mother's Day, obviously, to let her know what some of those things mean to you that she's done or she does. And those will go a long way, because there are moments of doubt as a dad, and we won't get into the dad part until the Father's Day or whatever. But you doubt if like what you've done or who you are even matters anymore. Like you feel maybe insignificant or like you're not needed as much, and there's a thing you go through. So she might be going through that at moments where you're like, does he care as much for me and blah blah blah. So this challenge is really set out between us, and it's between you guys, that you find unique ways to send that message that, Mom, I love you. I'm not just saying it with my mouth. I want to show you with action or with a unique way, in a unique way, and whatever that might be, especially during this time, it's funky. Like, you can't do what you want to do. You can't take her out to Cracker Barrel or Texas Roadhouse or Longhorn or whatever, or Speedway, and get her a couple of hot dogs. Yeah. If your mom is Red Lobster. My mom would be Cracker Barrel, Collier's, but that's not, we can't do that. So what can we do? What is it that we can, how can we send that message to our moms? We would love to hear what your ideas are, what you're going to do for your mom, and put those in the comments. Inspire other people to do something. Get them thinking uniquely and creatively.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely, I don't want to get too doom and gloom here, but I think we're living in a more uncertain time probably than any of our lifetimes ever with. So the quick story that came to my mind and is just, I've been reminded of with Mother's Day coming up, there's an NBA basketball player, all-star, great player, pretty young, 24, something like that, 24, 25. His mother, Carl Anthony Towns, yeah, he plays in Minnesota. His mother was diagnosed with COVID. Was put in a coma, not put into a coma, but from COVID she went into a coma, and was put in a hospital and passed away. This is that's so hard to even imagine, but the thoughts that he was never able to have another conversation with her. She was probably in a coma before he even realized it. He never got to tell her he loved her again. He never got to see her again because I don't think you can go to those hospitals. No,
that's the thing.
So, and then Dad was talking about his sister, which my aunt, she had three sons. Those boys, they don't expect to live without their mother. They don't expect that. So no. I think
you think you have forever.
Yeah.
And we're starting to understand that it isn't. That's not the case. We're being forced to realize that, and there are some that won't still realize that, but there are some that will stop and be woke enough to start evaluating and start carving out time or in your space, in your life, in your mind, in your heart. Maybe it's a call, maybe it's FaceTime, whatever. But yeah, with that, Carl Anthony Towns probably thought he had forever with his mom, or not forever, but you can't imagine that kind of thing. So, you know, send your appreciation to your mom, your superhero in your life. You know, in a world where we call everybody heroes, everybody's a hero in some way. I never look at a sports figure as a hero to me. It's just not It's just not what I think as a hero. When I think of hero, I do think of a mom who's doing what she needs to do, but she goes far and exceeds your expectations, and she's doing things behind the scenes, and and we got to fully appreciate that. And I don't know how to fully appreciate it, but all I know is that we have to be intentional in appreciating our moms.
I agree. We good?
I think we're done.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like it only if you like it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But subscribe if you haven't subscribed.
I mean, if you don't like moms, then you probably don't like this. But
yeah, we get it. If you don't like your mom, you wouldn't like this. So if you don't like it, we'll assume you don't like your mom.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's only logical.
Okay. And if you don't subscribe, then we'll just assume that you don't subscribe to the idea of motherhood and how mothers play a pivotal role in our lives.
Right.
That's symbolic.
I agree.
Yeah. We good?
Yes, sir. My ginger.
You all right?